You were so close. You saw the description and you started reading and you thought Kevin's name was in it, but it's not. It's not in it. It's me. It's Samm Levine. I'm sorry. Guys, I feel like I fooled those of you who don't read, but those of you who do have no one to blame but yourselves. So welcome to Kevin Pollak's Chat Show. I'm not Chat Show. I'm Samm Levine, guest hosting, because Mr. Kevin Pollak is still off in the New York doing Jew stuff. And I'm allowed to say that because I'm full of hate. No, wait, I don't think that's how that goes. Anyway, I am so excited to be back here at the Earwolf Studios here in beautiful, hot Hollywood, California, because today we have a guest that I'm so excited to talk to because I'm going to geek out is what's going to happen. He's a well-known magician. If you've read the description, you know who I'm talking about. If for some reason you haven't, this is still a mystery. This is going to be very exciting. He's a magician, and I love magic. I used to partake in the magical arts when I was a kid. So I cannot wait to talk to today's guest, Mr. Justin Willman.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Sam.
Oh, thanks, Justin.
I was just an audience sitting back watching you do your thing.
Just for a second.
I would have been okay with an hour-long intro.
Oh, no. Oh, an hour-long intro. Sure.
It was good.
It was good.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to come and talk to us today.
Just to be clear, you said Kevin's not here.
Kevin is not here. Unless Kevin?
Okay. I didn't know if he busted through the door at one point.
Oh, like me, like the Kool-Aid guy.
Like the Kool-Aid guy.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm here.
You know what? He should do that to me at one point. I would love that if I just started an interview and he showed up. In fact, check the Dave Coulier interview if you'd like to watch that on camera. Speaking of on camera.
Yes.
Now, you and I were chatting about this a second ago. This, for the bulk of its lifetime, this podcast, has been an on-camera podcast.
I'm aware, yeah.
And so I thought, if we're going to have somebody on that we should definitely only do audio with, it is you.
It's the magician.
A magician.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't know this. Magic wasn't invented until television. A lot of people think it was around, but that's hearsay. It was nonsense. Nobody was doing magic until the 50s.
Well, before television, people had enough trust in a magician that they could perform magic on the radio. And they would just take your word for it.
Yep.
There's nothing in the hat. Yep. Now there's a rabbit in the hat, and people at home
would applaud.
Didn't see how it worked.
So here's what's what. We are joined in the booth by our fabulous technician, Sam, also named Sam. I'm not looking in a mirror or anything.
One M, though.
Yep. Just one M over there.
Okay.
And Sam, say hello so people know I'm not a liar.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, thank you. So if somehow at any point during this interview a deck of cards should appear, if a thumb should come off of its knuckle, any sort of
You're saying
tomfoolery.
If I contract leprosy midway through this interview.
If something weird in this room happens, I know that the audience can't count on me to not lie. But Sam over there never told a lie in his life.
Not a single one.
Sam, I trust, doesn't care enough about the magic trick to lie about it, which is important.
I don't know.
Is that fair enough?
No, I'm very interested.
Oh, good. No. I mean, I'm glad you're interested, but
Okay.
He hasn't been paid off.
Well, no, he's not. I just want to be very clear. Nobody's been paid off. Sam is the most honest person I've ever met. And if something were to happen, you're going to have to take his word for it. Okay. Now, Justin, you, sir, have quite an interesting backstory. In fact, in doing my research about you and how you came to grow your love of magic, it is a downright superhero level origin story.
It's my Doctor Strange.
It is your Doctor Strange. Now, I'm not going to tell it. I will ask, however, that you
it.
Please share it with our audience.
And people are always like, is this a true story? So what you're about to hear is a true story.
I can't wait.
A true tale of awkward teenage, girl crushing, come up with some way to impress the ladies and fail miserably, but happy ending story.
Right.
So I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. When I was 12, I was riding my bike while wearing rollerblades. To impress some girls. People always wonder, how did that happen? And I'll tell you. I was rollerblading.
Right.
And then my friends were on bikes, and they're like, hey, you want to come with us? And I'm like, shoot, yes. let me just grab my bike because I don't want to be the one guy rollerblading, but I will be the one guy rollerblading while riding a bike.
Yep. Makes sense.
Pedaling along, I went down a hill, I fell off the bike, caught myself with my arms, broke both arms at the same time. Snap, snap. And I was in casts for 6 months. One of them was really bad, had to be rebroken with pins, etc.
Ouch.
So my doctor recommended, he saw that I took a liking to magic. There was a magician who had come through the hospital. So he recommended, why don't you pursue that? Get into the magic as physical therapy.
Sure.
And I did. My parents also were supportive of that because it was the doctor's orders. And then that's I've been doing it ever since. That was 25 years ago.
25 years ago.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's one thing to be into magic, but to have a doctor basically say to your parents, my treatment here, my medical advice is he learn the dark mystical arts.
Which sounds like malpractice. Like, how many times did that not work out? How many young lads did he prescribe a hobby to? And
let's go hang out in the dark underground magic clubs of St. Louis to find out.
There are probably many.
Oh my God.
Dank church basements.
Is there such a thing, by the way? Because I know
magic clubs.
Yeah, but like underground ones where it's like
literally.
Yeah.
I mean, not that like it's underground because we don't want you to find us, but it's underground because those are the spaces that you can get for free on a Wednesday night at the Knights of Columbus Hall.
I see. I was hoping it was a little more sinister. But
St. Louis was for me is a great town to grow up in magic because for some reason there were a bunch of magicians and it was the hub of the Ring 1 of the International Brotherhood of Magicians.
Oh, the IBM.
The IBM, you know it.
I sure do.
And Assembly 8 of the Society of American Magicians, the SAM.
SAM.
And
I was never invited to participate.
And a group of Society of Young Magicians, SYM. So these three groups would meet once a month. So 3 meetings a month, typically in like a random church basement.
Okay.
It was like me and really like a bunch of senior citizen men. And it didn't turn out creepy. It was like it's all on the up and up.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
When did you get your first subscription to the Linking Ring?
Oh my goodness, I would say 94.
Okay.
94.
For those of you who don't know, I was kind of hoping Justin was going to be a little more impressed that I was familiar with that publication. But for those of you who don't know, the Linking Ring is still published. It is published. Is it a published monthly?
Still black and white too, I believe. It is it's like a Reader's Digest.
Yeah, it's a Reader's Digest size. Published a periodical monthly for magicians.
Yes.
And my
Probably
father,
the oldest. I think it's one of the oldest.
I'm sure it is. My father has been a Linking Ring subscriber as long as I've been alive. So as a kid, I remember reading his issues of the Linking Ring and being very intrigued by magic.
Is he still a member?
He is. He's still a member
amazing.
of the IBM, and I've got IBS, and these are very exciting times.
Well, bathroom's down the hall.
Well, if it were just that simple.
What kind of magic does your dad do?
My father was mostly into close-up magic, into card close-up magic, because my father's a dentist.
Okay.
So working with his hands.
Loosen up the kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
Working with his hands, his dexterity was always, that's how he got into it.
Would he do it to calm the nerves of patients, do a little sponge balls or?
He, I don't know that he would ever do it to calm their nerves. He had like prop magic comedy bits that he would pull out on some of the patients. For example, he had a giant foam hand that looked like it was giving you a high five kind of foam hand, and he had it tucked just behind the chair where patients couldn't see it. And if he had a nervous patient, he would say, "I'm going to need you to open wide, wider than that." Even wider, and that's when he'd be slipping the hand on. They'd say, "I mean wide," and then he'd pull the hand out. It'd get a good laugh. But that's always the thing that I enjoyed about magic, and this is why I was never going to be a successful magician.
Why?
Because I enjoyed the patter more than the trick. Patter for a magician is huge if you're going to be doing close-up magic.
Patter is huge. Well, patter is what makes it so you can take what is really a simple pedestrian trick, but make it entertainment gold. Yeah. I mean, that's, I think, what separates true entertainers from a magic hobbyist.
So
you love the patter.
I love the patter.
You would take a basic trick and just make it about something wacky.
Yep.
You would write your original patter.
Yes.
Which is what's sad about a lot of magic is most magicians will do the patter that comes in the instructions.
Oh.
And I think that And because the trick is good, they can get away with that. But I think, that is the true art form. For me, it took many years to kind of become an original patter man.
Yeah.
Petition.
Paternman. That's it. Paternman. Well, but yes, so patter, for those of you who don't know, this is more insider terminology. Patter is everything you say while you are doing the trick, and sometimes that patter is designed to distract. And that's why I was always paying attention to the patter anytime I'd watch a new trick on the funniest line in the patter on what was basically guaranteed to get the laugh. I was like, you gotta keep a close eye.
Was your dad the first magician you saw live?
That's a good question. Most likely.
Right.
Because I was probably much too young to have seen a magician out in the wild.
Right. But then I'm sure he took you to maybe a club meeting or a, holiday party show.
I feel like we're making this more about me, and this is our guest here, but he took me to Tannen's Magic Shop in New York City.
Oh, there you go.
And so, that place was just crawling with actual magicians.
And cockroaches.
And
sure.
cockroaches.
It was in New York City.
It was filthy.
It was, it was probably
but yeah, so that's where he took me.
Here. It's rough. Yeah.
To get my first, deck that wasn't a regular deck, things like that. And so, that's probably where I saw like a bunch of lifelong magicians, all of whom had perfect technique down, masters of their craft who, sold stuff because it paid the bills between magic gigs.
There's something about the brick and mortar magic shop that I'm very grateful that I grew up when I did before, the internet was the thing. Because while right now, teenagers have access to a video of any trick ever being performed on YouTube and they could download the instructions to anything ever, there's something about just being in Tannen's or whatever magic shop and just looking at the shelves and saying like, what does that do? What's that? What is this? Show me this, show me that you can't learn, I don't think, online. Because
Absolutely
I think the best lessons are like when they dust off some book or something and it's you just got to see it. And that's, you don't get that anymore.
You do not get that anymore. And that is sad. I weep for the future magicians of America. They will not have what we had. And you know what? They'll be fine, though.
They'll be fine. They have YouTube.
It'll just be a slightly less rich backstory for them. That's all.
That's
but
true.
I want to keep talking about your rich backstory because it is rich.
I do like how our similar little magic experiences, even though I'm from Missouri and you're from East Coast,
Jersey,
from New Jersey, it is just it's a parallel story. We took divergent paths, but
we did.
I do like
to be quite honest with you, I was learning how to do card tricks because I was actually a sick kid who spent a lot of time in the hospital.
Okay,
and that was something I could sit in a hospital bed and learn and work on. Keep working on my
you
my
might
technique.
Not have the attention span otherwise.
Sure.
If you've got all the other things, it's a good solitary study.
Yes, when you are stuck in a hospital bed, working with your hands to learn a skill.
Interesting.
And I know people are going to read that as something dirty. I want to point out I'm like 9 in this, so weirdos. But yeah, no, that's how I learned to do it. But I had the hands of a child, so I had to learn on bridge-sized playing cards.
I did that as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes,
so many parallels.
So many
like looking in a mirror.
We've both got these delicious beards.
We do have beards.
So when you were 12, 13, learning how to do these tricks, who was teaching you?
It's funny you asked that. So just last week, I was at a magic convention in Vegas called Magic Live.
Okay.
Which is a big one. It's a doozy. And it's kind of where everyone, it's now the one, it's like the one to go to wherever you get to see everyone you've ever known. And my mentor from when I was a kid, Harry Monty, he's in his 80s now, but he was there. And he's in kind of a motorized wheelchair, but it was just really, I just feel very lucky that I was able to like now give him the props that he deserves because he was a very patient man and who was a mentor to tons of kid magicians coming up.
Wow. Did he have a school there, a shop?
Well, he did have a shop that predated me, but he was just he would run a lot of these meetings.
Okay.
He had just the patience of a saint who would show you the move that you're asking about or show you the trick and whatnot. And then he would put together these fundraiser shows all over St. Louis and have you kind of tag along. And, maybe I only had 5 minutes, but he would have me do 5 minutes. But then I'd also get to watch him set up. I'd get to share a green room and watch like a professional magician, how he sets up his props and kind of what he does, how he irons the silks before the show and all those little things. You get to kind of observe those nuances. So he was really influential.
Oh, that's spectacular.
Magic's one of those things that also just the people often think it's so secretive, where magicians don't share secrets, but it's remarkably, I think, giving with knowledge. When you are ready to receive, they will, shower you with knowledge.
Absolutely. And I mean, and once you are in let's call it a coven of magicians, once you're at an IBM meeting or in a magic shop, and it is obvious that you didn't wander in there off the street accidentally, like you care about the craft. I too have found magicians are very accepting and wanting to share knowledge.
The lingo starts to flow. The lingo comes out.
The lingo
it's
definitely
a whole different
flows.
language.
Yes.
Which is fun to eavesdrop in upon.
Flashing in magic is very different from what it means in real life.
It's true. Even more embarrassing in magic to flash.
Way more embarrassing.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. I flashed one time I was doing a card trick, and the trick was gone, and so I just had to rely on patter after that. And
do you remember your best patter? Like what trick had your best routine?
Man.
You were like, man, this is gold.
There was this is going to be nonsense that will not be interesting to anyone but you and the other magicians listening. There's a trick called Little Joey. It was a card trick where the deck, it was all false shuffles, and the deck was pre-ordered, and it was a long story that you told, and you told it with cards coming off of the deck. And, and then Little Joey caught a cab on 72nd Street, but nope, he got that wrong. It was supposed to be 78th Street. And each time you pull off the 7 and the 8.
You wrote this, Little Joey's your story?
My father had written a version of Little Joey that was way too, I don't know if he wrote it. He was doing a version of Little Joey that would have played in the 60s.
Okay.
So I had to do my own version of Little Joey. No, just the dated stuff, And so I wrote my own early 90s version of Little Joey. It's funny, I don't remember all of it, but I just remember that was like my aristocrats.
Yes.
Like I could write anything I want to correspond with however I wanted to keep the deck.
So and I think that trick is based on a routine called Sam the Bellhop, which was developed by Frank Everhart in Chicago, and then became kind of just the idea of a story deck. Is such a great premise for a magic trick to literally tell a story, and you add false shuffles and whatnot, and people lose it.
People love that stuff.
You should bring back Little Joey.
I should bring back Little Joey. I can't believe I remember Little Joey. I don't think I've thought about Little Joey in, how old am I? I'm going to say 25 years.
Wow.
So some memories just came flooding back. Thank you for that.
He misses you.
What do I owe you?
He misses you.
All right, so you've got a mentor in Harry Conte, you said?
Harry Monte. Harry Monte, yep.
And so what kept you going with it? I mean, when did you have the idea that this was more than just a hobby to you?
It wasn't too long before I kind of put together a show that I could sell, like a birthday party magic show.
Okay.
I mean, there's big business in kids' birthday parties.
Boy, is there.
And I'm sure it was just one of the magicians who I, saw at these meetings and kind of just was sparked with this idea of like, oh yeah, I could advertise myself at birthday parties. And the entrepreneurial aspect of magic and performing, I think, was just as interesting as the actual art form. And, I love them both equally, but I love the idea of being able to, take this thing that I want to do anyway and charge some money for it.
Sure.
It was really fun. So I I had professional photos taken when I was a kid in my tuxedo.
How old are you now? How old are you in this
right
story?
now?
No, in this story.
I'm here about 14, 15
wow.
years old.
You did not
waste time.
I had
business cards, I think probably at 14.
Fantastic.
By 15, I had my parents add a line to our home landline that was just my
your business line.
Justin Willman Productions business line. Soon that became Just Incredible.
That's what I was going to ask
developed
next.
I figure Justin Willman, they're not going to remember that. Right. You got to have these kids remember your name. So Just Incredible became my moniker.
Right. And that's Credible with a K.
Credible with a K.
As a last name. Credible.
Yep. To be cool.
Yeah.
Different. And it kind of, at first, they trickled in. I didn't have a car, so my parents would have to drive me. Of course. I would charge like $45, and I think other parents, not knowing at the time that I was undercutting the real professionals in the area, but there's some appeal, I think, to having a little little kid come and wearing a suit to your house to entertain your kids.
A slightly older than your own child.
You would not trust this kid to babysit.
Of course not.
I will chaperone him performing for my family.
Yeah.
And I was okay. I think part of what I didn't even know was the charm is that I was doing a lot of the patter that was for adults. Like I was doing the patter that maybe came with the trick. I was doing the routine as I saw adults do it, which I think I didn't realize how funny that was at the time because I just am doing it magic how I think it's supposed to be done. But I'm doing it unaware of the fact that I'm, talking like a grown-up, which is cute. It's more cuteness. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I eventually, by the time junior year in high school, I think I saved up and bought a car, $1,800. I think I bought like a really old 79 Mercedes wagon.
And this is at $45 a pop?
$45. I think it gradually increased
a little bit more.
Bit,
once you got known around town as the go-to guy,
got up to maybe 150 or so.
Okay, well, hello.
And word of mouth and all that works. And then once I got to college though, that's when I kind of switched it into high gear. I think I bought like a magician's marketing course from the back of a magazine.
Wow.
Which I just been making it up as I went along, describing my show. But I learned how to like really sell like a sleazebag. Not like a sleaze, but just to sell.
Like a used car salesman.
Yeah, always be selling.
So when you got to college, you went to Emerson College
College in Boston, yes.
So how did you go about looking for gigs there? Were you still wanting to do kids' parties?
Kids' parties. I loved doing kids' parties because I think by the time I got to college, I kind of started to come into my own voice as a comedic performer and would kind of created a show that would entertain the kids. So it was like on the face of it, it was I was a children's entertainer, but had different levels and jokes that were for the adults and whatnot.
Sure.
So it kind of became a thing where I wasn't like, the parents didn't just say, go watch The Magician while they went and drank. They were like, let's all watch The Magician. This guy's kind of
like
funny.
any good animated film.
Like any good.
It appeals to all the kids, but there's stuff in there for the grown-ups too.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So, and in Boston, Emerson's a artsy-fartsy of a school enough that I was able to basically do like 7 or 8 kids' parties on the weekend.
7 or 8?
Still kind of party like a proper college student should and get A's and B's.
My God.
Yeah.
This is...
it was serious.
That's very intense.
It was
7
serious.
to 8 a weekend.
Yeah.
How do you space them out like that?
Man, well, I would love the challenge of trying to fit in as many as I could in a day. So let's say, familiar with Boston?
To a degree.
Bit. Let's say I had a 10 a.m. birthday party in Newton.
Okay.
And then I'm like, okay, the show's 45 minutes long. I need 15 minutes to pack up. And then I have a show in Andover at noon.
Yeah.
I could make that.
Yeah.
So it's 10 a.m., noon. Do the same thing at a 2 o'clock somewhere, a 4 o'clock, a 6 o'clock.
That's incredible. A 6 o'clock for a children's birthday party.
Well, sometimes it wouldn't be a kid's birthday party. Sometimes it'd be a bar and bat mitzvah.
Okay.
It would be I branched out from the birthday. Yeah.
Okay. You'd be thinking like 5-year-olds are having 8 o'clock parties
just
at night.
after nap time.
Yeah.
Blue and gold banquets.
Yeah.
But I did do slumber parties.
Ooh,
occasionally. Yeah.
I did not think about the slumber party.
Slumber parties. Not a hot market,
Right. You
Yeah.
get maybe
now
one
available for female slumber parties.
A few of those a year.
A few a year.
Yeah.
A few a year.
Okay.
And then I had a great new mentor in Boston. His name was Bonaparte the Magician.
Oh.
Who John Bonaparte is his name, but he went by Bonaparte. And he is a legend children's performer in Boston, became actually then my best friend. He was a bit older than me, but he's a good-looking bald black man. He looked my age if you met us.
You had a Doc Brown Marty thing going on.
Precisely.
Okay.
And he actually then became the best man at my wedding.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Good dude. So it's weird, the evolution of the mentors that, at least in the magic world, you kind of, not that you outgrow a mentor, but kind of when you max out their, because you outgrow a mentor. Yeah.
Wow.
You max out their tutelage and you kind of move on to the next one. Yeah.
The student has surpassed the master.
Teacher, yes.
Well, that's great. So you did that for all 4 years at Emerson.
For all 4 years at Emerson. And I, kind of befriended, obviously Emerson's known as a good breeding ground for comics. So like Elijah Schlesinger went to Emerson with me. Dan Levy was one of my best friends in college. Eric Hutchinson he's a musician now, but he was a fantastic comedian. So all these people kind of really had a strong impact on me because magicians tend to work on their act, have their act. Once they got their act I'm done. Let's just do that act forever.
Sure.
Versus comedians that, you're constantly evolving. If a joke is kind of hacky or
Right.
you're over it, you ditch it. So I kind of was able to sponge that mentality off of them, which was really nice because I think that helped me later when, you get to LA and you kind of hacky magic is very apparent,
Ooh.
and it's nice to kind of ditch those bad habits.
Sure.
Yeah.
So how long after graduation did it take for you to land somewhere else?
Well, I moved to L.A.
Right after graduation.
Right after. Lived at the Oakwoods here with Dan Levy.
And Toluca Lake Oakwoods?
Yeah. Frankie Muniz was living there at the time, rolling around in his Hummer.
Sure was. Well, give me a year on
We're
this.
talking winter of '01.
Oh, wow. Okay. You would have just missed a young John Francis Daly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's where he lived when we were shooting the Freaks and Geeks program.
Really?
Really.
Wow.
In fact,
But he had just, he was like, all right, I'm old enough to get my own place at that point. Was he just...
No, he was not old enough. But after the season on the show and another thing, they bought a house in Burbank.
Got it.
But,
and of course, he went on to direct Burt Wonderstone. Or right?
Right. And
direct Burt Wonderstone.
No, he did not direct it. He co-wrote it. It was directed by, I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. Saturday Night Live guy. Tina Fey guy. Nope, not going to come up with it.
Okay.
But anyway, yes, that is John. In fact, I remember when John called me, this is many, many years ago, before he was a giant successful writer-director, John and his writing partner, Jonathan Goldstein, felt that I was better than IMDb because you couldn't just like Google, hey, have there ever been any movies about X? And so they would just call and ask me. And I remember when they were pitching Burt Wonderstone, they called and they were like, are there any movies about like magicians being super competitive with each other? And I was like, well, other than The Prestige, which does not really fit what you're talking about because this is modern day stuff. I was like, no. And you know what? I think the world's ready for it.
I think so.
If you haven't seen the incredible Burt Wonderstone, do.
I mean, come on.
I think
Jim Carrey in that movie.
Jim Carrey, Steve Carell. It got Steve Buscemi. It got a bum rap.
Yeah, it got a bum rap.
If you even slightly enjoy magic, give it a go.
Yes.
I recommend it.
And there's plenty to make fun of in The Art of Magic. Magicians enjoyed that movie immensely.
I certainly hope so. Is it like the Rounders for magicians? Like Rounders is to poker players?
To poker players.
Where they know on some level, they're like, I know this is not really that good a movie because everything happening in this movie is ludicrous.
I think so. I think magicians, at least I would hope so, are self-aware enough to know that any just skewering, even if, a parody of magic in popular culture is good for magic.
Right.
Yes.
But as much as they know it's silly, they're like, but I still love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
100%.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Well, good. I'm glad we got to the bottom of that.
Thank you. Yes. Finally, that debate.
So you're here in LA.
Yes.
And now it's my understanding you graduated with a broadcast journalism degree.
I did.
And how has that served you?
Well, I'm trying to remember what my rationale was at the time. I think I started as a TV video major, and I was like, there's not enough in front of the camera stuff.
Right.
And I was like, if this magic thing doesn't work out, maybe I'll be a weatherman.
Yeah.
A magic weather guy. Can you imagine that?
I can.
A little rain over here, and then just water pours out of my hand.
I love it.
A little scorching sun over here, sand.
Justin, it's not too late.
It might not be too late.
It's not too late.
But the green screen's going to make people not trust anything that happens.
So you do it live.
Live. In front of a giant, real map of the world.
Yes.
Man. Okay.
We can work this
my
out.
backup plan.
We can work this
but
out.
I think something about just the idea of like, you know what it was? It was knowing that Johnny Carson started as a magician and became a beloved host.
Certainly.
Knowing that Arsenio Hall started as a magician, became a fantastic host who also requires a barber.
A barber.
It's in
you
his
talk
writer.
a lot about Arsenio Hall.
That's just the second mention.
Well, that's more. That's one more than most people would slide into a conversation.
More to come.
That's 100% more.
I think
than most people slide into a conversation.
Those practical uses of magic to get whatever my dad would call a real job at the time, I think were what encouraged me into a journalism background.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I ended up hosting a bunch of random shows that some of which I'm proud of, others am ambivalent about.
Okay. Well, yes, you have hosted quite a few shows and I mean, we're going to have to get back to this gap here, but yes, over the years you hosted Cupcake Wars for 4 seasons, it looked like.
I did.
A show called King of Cones,
Yeah.
which sounds like, and forgive me, I didn't know what it was, so I had to look it up. That sounds like ice cream.
It is ice cream.
But it's also all kinds of dessert, right?
This show was ice cream centric.
Okay,
and I'll
good.
tell you, it was originally called, and why I was excited to do it. It was called Game of Cones.
Oh.
And then they thought they'd get sued. They didn't get no cease and desist. I was like, just go for it.
Yeah.
Game of Cones is funnier.
Game of Cones is funnier.
Food Network.
And Win, Lose, or Draw.
Win, Lose, or Draw.
For the Disney people. That's delightful.
It was a great time.
How, so do you feel, this is a legit question, do you feel like the broadcast journalism education gave you a leg up with jobs like that?
Well, I learned to, you learn how to use a teleprompter, which seems like you learn to read.
If Donald Trump can sort of do it.
Kind of.
Sort of.
But there is something, I guess, just learning it young in college.
Yeah.
There's just a little bit of a leg up that as opposed to learning it when you kind of have to do it well.
Right.
So that was nice. But yeah, I mean, it just yapping in front of a camera. It's not rocket science.
Oh, well.
But there is a diploma for it.
Atta
I was in
boy.
college.
Proud of you.
Yeah. But the gap. You want to know about the gap?
I want to know about that gap. So, because I mean, everyone has that. And then I got to LA, and then I was on that TV show. I'm like, I want to know about the 6 years of banging your head against the concrete.
So I moved to LA. I think 2002 is when I actually graduated college and then lived here. And now it's 18, so there's 16 years. The first couple of years I was doing kids parties, but also like partying with some
Kids.
friends who partied pretty hard.
Oh, boy.
And kind of lived on Wilton in Hollywood, and kind of like a big old craftsman, not with like, they didn't really verify their renters all over the place. So it was kind of a hodgepodge of just party degenerates whose parents were helping them pay the rent. And so I kind of I was slowed down by my own vices of just LA and all the fun it has to offer in the early aughts.
Sure.
We all did.
I was here. I remember.
You were here.
Yeah.
I probably saw you at the Kibitz room.
At that underground magic dungeon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I remember
Magic.
that place.
The Gathering, I think we called it.
We did call it, and we did not get a cease and desist.
No. But what was ironic is at the same time I'm like going on, Coke-inspired benders here and there of not sleeping. I would then get up and go do a kid's birthday party.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Just incredible, huh?
This just incredible
Just
indeed.
intoxicated.
So for the first many years, it sounds like of your magic career, kids' parties were the bread and butter.
Bread and butter. 100%.
Okay.
So I kind of did what I did in Boston, which was kind of try to become the go-to kids magic guy. I did that here again in LA.
Okay.
And it took maybe like 3 years to kind of get it up and running and busy. Okay. And then probably around 2005, 2006, I was like, just the being in LA, the having friends who had bad habits and, kind of becoming codependent boyfriend and this and that. I was like, you know what, let's switch it up. And so I got into doing colleges. I found this college agent who was hungry to start booking somebody, dudes up in upstate New York, and they're just on the phones all day booking acts.
Great.
So I started doing colleges, started doing a couple NACA conferences.
Oh,
and then
NACA.
Did kind of
National Association of Campus Activities, for those who don't know.
Wow.
If you are a performer and you want to never sleep in your own bed again on the weekends, do a NACA conference.
Yeah. It was, so basically I took this obsessiveness that I was with kids' birthday parties and applied it to colleges. So instead of like, how do I do a birthday party in Newton? And then in Andover, it was like, how to do a college in New Hampshire, and then in Colorado, and then down to Florida, and then,
That's right. You got to get a booker.
It was great.
You got to get an agent for that sort of nonsense.
So, and at first I was doing like my kid's birthday party act just with like sexual innuendos in it, which flew. It worked.
I can imagine it would.
It worked really well.
College kids love that sort of thing.
And Just Incredible, what was meant to be a kid's birthday party moniker, became well suited to this college moniker. It was kind of like, became a little ironic.
Did anyone ever say Mr. Credible?
Mr. Credible, I presume. Only when I checked into hotels.
Okay.
And they would often make the room reserved under Credible with a K.
Yep.
Oh, Mr. Credible.
Mr. Credible, welcome to the Hyatt Regency.
Yeah, because on paper they don't see the pun.
Right.
So they would take me very seriously.
Right.
It was nice.
That's lovely.
And then I worked up to like 150 colleges a year for a couple years.
That's
great for relationships. Girlfriends love it.
Well, like I said, you'll never see your own bed.
No.
Not on any weekend, at least. But it is certainly a great way to, if you are successful at it, as you certainly were, a great way to give yourself that financial cushion of being able to continue to pursue your loftier goals while you are at home.
Absolutely.
And those loftier goals have certainly led you to some quite lofty places, my friend.
I like that transition. I was like, I don't know where
master,
I should take it.
Master of the transition.
Master of the segue.
Because I want to jump around. I want to get to this because I want to hear this whole story.
Let's get to the good stuff.
Let's get to the real good stuff. You got to perform for, arguably, some would call him, of at least certainly my young lifetime, the greatest president of my lifetime, Mr. Barack Obama.
I did.
You got to perform at the White House.
Man.
For the president.
Yeah.
The real one, not this new guy.
Yes. A real president.
I am dying to hear how that came about. So please tell me.
So, gosh, when I think back on it, it's kind of like all downhill after. I remember doing this. Well, here, I'll tell you how it came about.
Okay, please.
So I used to do the show every year outside St. Louis for like a little summer community. And I would do my kid show thing, from like 93 on. So this year I did it for the 25th year in a row.
Wow.
And one of the kids who was probably like when I was a teenager or in college, like was very young, and she would see me every year. And she ended up going to high school and college, as kids do, and then ended up being an intern at the White House.
Wow!
For the First Lady's what do they call it? Just like events committee, coming up with things. So they have a Halloween party every year at the White House for military families and their kids. And she suggested, they were like, maybe we try a magician, and she was like, I know a guy.
Oh,
and it was just. You never know the seeds you plant along the way. Especially
when you're working with all these young kids.
Yes.
You don't know. Most of them, let's be honest, are going to be failures. But every now and then. You get that one who's an intern at the White House.
So don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
Never be a dick.
That's a good motto.
She, and I was hosting Cupcake Wars at this time. We actually had a shoot day that day, so I couldn't do it at first.
Ooh.
But luckily the Cupcake Wars folks were like cool enough to understand this doesn't happen twice.
I would like to think so.
So they shuffled it around. I had to do a full background check leading up to it.
Sure.
As did my girlfriend who was going to come along with me.
Of course.
And we took a red eye there, did it, showed up. They really went through my cases. You think, more than TSA is rough for a magician.
Yeah.
Just because I have a lot of weird stuff.
Of course. Delicate.
Yeah. And when I say I'm a magician, they're always like, oh, okay, go ahead.
Oh, nice.
Which is kind of scary. That's all you have to say.
Well, you look the part, too.
The noose, it's for a trick. It's a good trick. So, and I even brought cupcakes as a gift, which the bomb-sniffing dogs just destroyed before I got to pass them on. But then you're in the White House, and you're setting up in one of the rooms, which is just, it's like I'm in like some library study, the map room. That was my green room. They don't have facilities there. It is what it is.
No, it's a house, I guess.
It's a house.
In the East Wing?
Did a show in the East Room.
Okay.
Yeah, and, we've got Barack and Michelle there, and everyone's in a costume. Michelle's wearing kind of a orange-black kind of sequiny Halloween dress. Barack's just wearing a fleece. He's dressed as the president.
Oh.
And all the kids it was like the most surreal. You know how like when you're really nervous for a show, you're like, oh my God, I've never been this nervous. I was that nervous again, but I wasn't any more nervous than that, which was kind of freeing. It was like I was as nervous as my body knew how to be.
Okay.
And because I was like, I should be more nervous than I am, it was kind of a relief. I was able to be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've felt this way before.
Yeah, you'd been certainly doing it a while.
Yes.
At that point.
I was aware of how surreal it was.
Okay.
But I've been doing it long enough that I was able to slip into a little bit of an autopilot. So I wasn't really obsessing about my every move. I was able to just make sure that the situation as a whole was handled well, and that I was absorbing it.
Lovely.
And got to meet him and take a picture with him. He even kind of heckled verbally in the show in a fun way. most people are like, oh, they think heckling is helping, and they're not.
Right.
But when you're the president,
Yeah.
and you heckle in a fun way, like, how's he doing this stuff? You know?
Oh, okay.
Where was that bowling ball? What's going on?
All right.
Like
So-
that kind of heckling.
yeah.
It made everyone feel good because everyone's kind of like looking at him like, how the hell is he doing?
I got to tell you, that doesn't sound like heckling to me. That sounds like a hype man.
He was baby hyping me.
I think.
Come on. You guys act like this happens all the time. Come on, people.
I think Barack Obama was your hype man.
I never thought about it that way. I think you're right.
Yeah. Sounds like he
Wow.
was trying to get the crowd going.
He was. He
Okay,
was.
that's the definition of a hype man, Justin.
Damn.
You've been telling this all
I just
wrong.
have never had a hype man. I don't think I knew how to recognize a good thing when I had it.
Well,
Wow.
we have cracked the case here today, if nothing else.
My hype man in a fleece.
When you tell this story from here on out, I'd better hear Obama became my hype man.
became my hype man because I did because it's Halloween, I kind of did a spooky haunted trick where I referenced the picture of William Henry Harrison on the wall in the room we were
He died
in.
in 30 days.
In 30 days. And I told the story that he was the first president to die in the White House after he gave a long-winded speech without a jacket and no microphone. He caught pneumonia. So I was like, and I had this trick that I used to do regularly with a little wooden nightstand table, and I would make it float around.
Oh, sure.
But I took it and I said it, and this was his nightstand that was by his bed when he died, which was a lie. But these kids don't know.
No, they don't know.
Covered it up with a tablecloth and made it float all over the place. It was very spooky. And that's when he like broke the ice and was like, kind of, I guess, did a hype man because all the kids are like kind of freaked out. And
Sure.
He's just, he goes, what did he say? No, it was Michelle.
Oh, okay.
Who goes, what is going on? How is this happening? And it kind of like cut through a little bit. Well, they both hyped me.
Yeah.
My
The
hype
Obamas were your hype
I like
couple.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
So they were just lovely. And
That sounds
it
lovely.
all happened really quick. It was a whirlwind.
Yeah.
24
How
hours.
long was your set?
I did 30.
Wow.
30 minutes.
A full 30.
A full 30.
That's
crazy.
impressive. What
Yeah.
what was the one you were most excited about performing at that party?
Well, the floating table was, I kind of customized the routine to really fit the occasion.
Sure.
But I used to do this thing where I would have a big sketch pad and the music, I think I was using like a Kings of Leon track at the time. Put that in post. Drew a picture of a bowling ball, shut the pad cover, squeezed it, and a bowling ball would fall out onto the stage.
Yep.
And
It's giving you
yeah.
strong beat just then.
Strong beat. I would have given you a cut sign as I go, boom, and then the beat kicks in again when the bowling ball hits the ground.
That's
and that
great.
was always a good attention
sure.
grabber. Like,
Yeah.
yo, this guy's good. You should watch this.
Yeah.
So I was excited just to watch the faces.
And when the bowling ball hit the ground and made a loud thud, did Secret Service just
They didn't
leap across the room?
freak out then, but I tell you, I did a thing where I have someone pick a card and I make it, I have them hold onto a corner of it and make the card disappear.
Yeah.
And it reappears in an orange. That's what's coming next. But before I got to that part, after the card disappeared, I said, now, Mr. President, would you stand up for me?
Oh, boy.
Reach in your right front pants pocket. And it literally, this security was kind of like the Secret Service, like kind of hype perked up.
Oh.
And then he reached in and he goes, no, nothing. I was like, that would have been good. That would have been good. But just the fake out joke was not well received.
You legit had the Secret Service like, did he really slip something in there and none of us caught it?
Right.
Because someone's going to get fired.
Literally, that would
If
have been
that
good.
happened.
Yeah.
I really love that notion that like a fun trick just for laughs of like you'd slipped, a deck of cards or like the ace of spades in there and nobody saw it.
I mean, if before I said that would have been good if I just had been shot and I never got to complete my patter.
Yeah. Yeah. Comedian
put a
Justin
bomb in his
Incredible
pocket.
was arrested today and sent to Guantanamo Bay.
Oh, man. What a headline.
Oh, what a
An ironic headline. Comedian Justin Credible.
I called you comedian, not magician.
No, I like that. But just
but you know what? Because it sounded like you brought the funny.
I did.
And you do bring the funny. I have now. This is a good time. Full disclosure: I have seen you perform live, so I
This is true.
am not speaking hyperbole here. You are fantastic.
Oh, thanks, Sam.
Yeah, my pleasure. And I mean, you don't have to have just been lucky enough to me to see Justin live. You have so many videos available online. You've gotten quite a prolific online presence.
Some would say too many, maybe.
I don't No,
You know how there's always that temptation. Do I leave the old stuff up? And I guess it's nice to leave the old stuff up. But
because I guarantee you, people are going to listen to this and they're going to want to see the evolution.
Right.
And they're going to
just take note of the timestamp.
Yeah.
And take that into consideration.
That's fine.
Because I used to do regular spots on the Rachel Ray show, and I had like a big fro, and we're talking like 2006. And,
Sure.
Wasn't as witty then.
Hey.
Hey.
You know what? It's every day. I always say, if you're not learning every day you're on the job, you're doing a bad job.
This is true.
So that's fantastic. So you said that the White House thing was during Cupcake Wars.
Yes.
Which was 4 years. So now
It was actually about 5. It was 9 seasons over about 5 years.
Holy crap.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was that
120
many.
episodes.
That is a lot.
It was a lot.
That is a lot.
Yeah. And that was a random just hosting audition, right place at the right or wrong time, depends on how you
Well,
look
that was
at
my
it.
next question.
Yeah.
So you are out here. You were living in LA. You are doing the parties. You are doing NACA stuff. You're doing colleges and corporate gigs, and you're making ends meet, and you're doing very well. So there was always, though, I guess, the desire to do more on-camera stuff that maybe wasn't necessarily revolving around magic.
Related. Yeah. I mean, I was auditioning as an actor for a while.
Okay.
Not very successfully. The audition part always was a hang up. But I took it kind of seriously. I was like studying with Howard Fine and Leslie Kahn for a little while.
Wow.
Yeah. Booked a one word on the Gilmore Girls.
Hello.
Hey, one word.
And what was that word? Wait, hang on. Let me brace myself. I'm going to put myself like I'm watching an episode.
I'll paint the scene for you.
Please do.
It's
Please do.
Rory's first day of college.
Okay.
And she's a half hour early to class. Teacher's assistant, yours truly, starts handing out syllabi. Ooh. And then kind of just does an eye roll because this girl's so early and just goes, freshman. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Boy, did you paint a picture.
And I think that's the only non-magic related acting role I ever received.
That's true. There was the role of Armando.
Armando the Amazing on the Sweet Life on Deck.
That's right.
Armando.
Armando.
And I was a magician on Love. Netflix show Love.
Yep, sure.
Brief stint. But you know how it is. You kind of like, you gotta have your feet in a couple different markets.
Always.
You gotta have a lot of irons in the fire.
I always like to tell people if you really want to make it in show business, you're metaphorically spinning plates.
Precisely.
Yeah, and I mean a lot of plates.
Occasionally, literally spinning plates too, depending on the audition. Some commercial auditions are a little weird.
In your case, literal plate spinning.
Literal plates.
Yeah, it's the metaphorical for me of like I'm spinning 11 plates at any given time.
Yeah. There's a lot of rejection along the way.
Oh, boy.
You know?
If only you could just snap your fingers and make that rejection disappear.
Well, there is some, I think after a number of years where you kind of take it less personally, there is an amazing freedom that comes from kind of just not caring and not knowing it doesn't really, not letting it affect you so much.
Right. They didn't reject, as hard as it is to for some people to grasp, they're not rejecting you as a person. It's not like you said, I want to come and hang out with you on the weekends, and they're like, no.
Right.
Like you read the lines and they were like, you're fine, but you just weren't who we were thinking of.
Right.
Have a good one.
Right.
Yeah.
We're looking for more of a Samm Levine type.
Oh, no. You know what? I've auditioned for 2 projects in my career where casting literally wrote, we are looking for Samm Levine type. I booked neither of those.
Damn.
So I say, that is not who you are looking for. And then their retort was, well, no, we didn't say we were looking for Samm Levine. We said we were looking for a Samm Levine type.
Yeah, actual Samm Levine would be a bit on the nose, as they say.
That seems like a cheat to me.
A bit on the nose.
But you, so outside of acting, though, you have been hired as a consultant and a writer.
Yeah.
For a number of major Hollywood productions, America's Got Talent.
Yes.
The Goldbergs on ABC.
Oh, yes, the Goldbergs.
So please tell me about that.
Well, that was fun.
How does that come about?
So, they did a magic episode where the son was, is Adam on the show?
Yeah, Sean.
Yeah.
Sean is the actor.
He's amazing. Yeah. He got obsessed with David Copperfield and then wanted to put together a magic act with his mom as his assistant. Hilarious premise,
Perfect.
Right? So Dan Levy writes on the Goldbergs, good buddy of mine, kind of put a word in, and the script was really funny, and I like seeing magic represented well, and I feel like it's very easy to cut corners and have magic kind of come off cheap or cheesy or use hacky stuff or also just use camera tricks and kind of do it the easy way, which I don't blame non-magician productions for just wanting to do that because it is easier. But I feel like it just puts the idea in people's heads that, oh yeah, magic, it's not real. You know, it's just fake. So the Goldbergs, it was fun to kind of help on that for a week, which kind of then planted the seed for me to do this Disney movie called Magic Camp that I kind of came in way early, which was a script that Steve Martin wrote, and then a bunch of other writers kind of went through like many different iterations of the script. So I kind of advised on the actual script, making sure everything was, true to life. I went to a magic camp as a kid. I don't know if you ever went to Tannen's Magic Camp, but you went to Tannen's shop.
Yes, Tannen's shop. I went to a Jewish sleepaway camp.
Got
as a kid.
Well, Tannen's Magic Camp could be referred to as a Jewish sleepaway camp.
It almost certainly could.
Very much so.
But no, there was no magic at my camp.
Okay, well, that's sad.
Well,
not even an elective of magic.
Not even an elective. No, we had circus was the performing arts. We had circus and theater, and I'm glad I went with theater.
Got it. Yeah. Circus, you would have been spinning plates.
Literally. Now I get to spin them metaphorically.
But what I loved about
helping
with this movie is that this movie could be done all practically. You don't need special effects. No one's expecting, Now You See Me style CGI. Like I was like, they could do this movie and actually have the kids all really be doing magic. I was really stoked about this.
It's amazing.
So that's what we did. So then I consulted on the script and the movie. Jeffrey Tambor is in it. Adam Devine,
Lovely.
Gillian Jacobs, great.
Is this movie available? Is it coming out soon?
It's coming out next year.
Okay.
It was supposed to come out this year, but kind of got pushed, I think.
All right, it's show business delays.
Disney and
standard show business delays.
I mean, the kids are so great. I mean, the problem is that they'll probably have like mustaches by the time this movie comes out because they were, just on the cusp of puberty, looking adorable, and now they could play their own father. But
well,
but
that's
it'll be
what
great.
happens. It happens.
Keep an eye out for that.
I certainly will. That's called Magic Camp.
Magic Camp.
Oh, that's great. Speaking for things that we should be on the lookout for.
Yes.
If you are a smart person and you've got Netflix, it is my understanding, sir, that you have a brand new series coming to Netflix in a matter of days.
I do.
It is called Magic for Humans.
Indeed.
Please tell me about it. Well, actually, before you tell me about it, I want to tell you what was written about it in its description, because this is one of the most flowery descriptions, and I believe this was sent to me by Netflix.
Oh, boy.
Host and magician Justin Willman is looking for answers about the primal questions that have plagued humanity since time immemorial. Did you write that?
I did not write that.
Okay. What the hell does
the immemorial
that mean?
word, I was like, it just sounds like someone died.
It really does.
It's time immemorial.
Yeah.
So
please tell me about the show and what does that mean?
It's a show where I'm trying to find answers to figure out what it is that makes us all human, makes us all the same. What connects all of us?
Okay.
I feel like everything out there right now, everything's very divisive. It's about you think this, you think that. Right. We're dividing ourselves into groups.
Show us how different we are.
And I had a tangent like about a year ago where I enjoyed kind of doing a bunch of political magic. I did a video about using this trick to explain transgender bathroom situation. I did a whole big stunt where I walked through Trump's wall. I did, a thing about the drought. I did these things that I was very proud of and that I really loved how much people loved it. And I also loved when people really hated it. I kind of, when you do something that is divisive but you feel strongly about, you kind of don't care about the positive or the negative. Like it all kind of reaffirms that you did something right because people are talking about it. But man, it definitely does divide people up. And I was like, and it's kind of taking the art of magic and adding just a little, kind of dirtying the waters a little bit and also maybe shutting people off to the greater message that we all are the same, and let's celebrate the things that we all have in common. So every episode of the show explore a different facet of the human condition: love, self-control, guilt, belief, fear, and we do that with kind of very comedically driven street magic or social experiments and whatnot. It's not as like professorial as I'm making it sound. It's kind of Tim and Eric are executive producers on the show, so it is bizarre and kind of off the wall a little bit at times. But it all just has a through line where kind of like a This American Life episode. Today we're talking about self-control and all the stories are completely different, but they have a little bit of a thread that ties them together, and that's kind of what I have in this show. So in the self-control episode, we recreate the Stanford Marshmallow Experiment. You know,
wow.
the classic thing where they put a marshmallow in front of a kid and they say, you can, not the prison
No,
experiment.
I was going to say that's the one I know
That's
about.
a different one.
Okay.
The Marshmallow Experiment is where it's kind of a test of a child's impulse control.
Oh.
You can have a marshmallow now. There it is.
Yep.
You can eat it. Or if you can wait 10 minutes and just hold out, I'll give you 2 marshmallows.
Yeah.
And they found that kids who would wait for that second marshmallow actually achieved more in life, had higher
Wow.
test scores, higher income, etc. And so we recreated that experiment with the added layer of me being a magician, and the kids don't know that, so the marshmallow actually disappears before they even get a chance to eat it.
Oh.
And then they get blamed for eating it. So it becomes a new experiment of watching how the child gets blamed for something that we know they didn't do. Some defend it, some don't care, some
Yeah.
cry.
Aw,
It's adorable.
you make the children cry.
Yeah.
Well,
One child.
One child
It's
cried?
worth it, though. It's worth it.
Oh, I'll bet it is.
In the belief episode, we do a flash mob social experiment to convince a dude that he's invisible.
Yeah.
I do an eyewitness in the guilt episode, a little commentary on eyewitness testimony and kind of its
fallibility.
Fallibility.
Oh, certainly.
By, the classic trick where a magician will disappear off stage, reappear in the back of the house. And it'll appear like he's 2 places at once.
Right.
Also, costume change, right? I can change clothes really quick. So we did a hidden camera experiment where I snatched this woman's purse, run around a corner, and literally, camera doesn't cut instantly. A cop car pulls up, and I hop out as the cop. So I kind of teleported and changed clothes to see if she would realize that I was the guy. So I'm literally questioning her about the purse snatcher.
Yeah.
And she's describing me to
you.
but doesn't know it's me. So it was a way to kind of take magic and make it about something.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what the show's about.
Oh, that's spectacular.
Yeah.
When does it premiere?
Friday, August 17th.
That is
A matter of days.
Days.
Maybe in the past,
That
depending
it
on
is
when they're
probably
listening.
in the past.
So
This-
it's now.
It's now.
Now.
So right now, people are listening to this. Stop.
Stop. Magic for Humans.
Magic for Humans on
Add
Netflix.
it to your list. Watch it tonight.
Oh, that's
There's 6
awesome.
episodes.
Okay.
They all drop at once. It's Netflix's first original magic series.
Wow.
So
that is surprising because they have
It
original
is.
everything.
They have original everything, and I don't know why haven't dived into the magic space, but I feel like it's the perfect place for it because when you're in the mood for magic, you're like, bring it on. Let me go down a magic hole tonight.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch 4 hours of magic.
100%.
But if you're not in the mood for, you're not going to like tune in to watch 30 minutes of magic once a week like you will another show that you're addicted to.
I agree.
I would maybe tune in, but I
Sure.
feel like it's a very binge-worthy genre.
Yeah.
So hopefully it goes well,
I feel
think
like it will.
I'm really proud of it. Rarely will I do something and a year later watch it again and be like, I stand by this. And the show I do.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I'm
That's
happy.
really good to hear. Well, I personally cannot wait to watch it. Magic for Humans, 6 episodes on Netflix. By the time you're hearing this, they're already there and available. So get on it, people. Hey, now if you are like any other magician I've ever known, you literally always have at least a deck of cards or something that you can tool around with on you.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I am eager to test the theory that we can do magic over the airwaves. Over
the
radio
airwaves?
here. Yeah. Now, before you do anything,
Yes.
I will say this. I'm always looking to get more of a social media following because that's the only real currency these days. Am I right, Justin?
Followers.
Followers,
Likes.
they say. So I'd like to think that most of the chat show listeners are already following me on the social medias, but I'm going to sweeten the pot. And I'm going to say, if it's all right with you,
Yeah.
the handsome Sam over there, he's going to help us, and we're going to get video
Great.
of you and me goofing around here.
I like it.
And so we'll let it play out in real time, and you can hear it. But if you want to see what is going on here at Earwolf Studios between me and Justin, you're going to have to check out my and hopefully your social media, and we are going to post a video link to what is about to unfold. And I am terrified thinking about it.
It's not a card trick.
Okay.
Don't be scared.
I will not be scared.
It's kind of in line with the show a little bit. This is about.
Okay, we're going. We are now
We're
recording.
rolling.
Okay, we are rolling.
So
as they say.
I think one of the things that makes us human is our inability to lie to one another. Some
Sure.
people
Some
are
peop-
totally
Yeah.
great at lying.
Yeah.
Other people are not. And I feel like humans have tells, and I think a lot of magic, as you know, is psychology. Yeah. So I have a die here, 6 sides. I want you to just turn the die so that you think of any number from 1 to 6 and turn it so that number's up, but don't let me see it. Put your hands on it.
I want to describe this as a perfectly legitimate looking die. There's nothing out of place about it. And so you want me to think of a number.
Think of a number, turn it so that number's up.
Turn it so that number
and
is
put your
up.
hands over it. So you know what the number is. It's
I know what the
locked
number
in.
is.
The viewers can see
My hands are covering this die. There is no way you could physically see what I've turned
Okay,
up.
so I'm going to turn back.
Okay.
And this actually might be something that the listeners will have a leg up on because this is kind of about the timbre of your voice.
Oh, boy.
So I want you just to I want you to recite 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just monotone, flat pattern. And I'm listening for a slight little something. And I'm just curious if they'll be able to hear it. So go for it.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That was very subtle.
So subtle, right?
And I don't know you too well, but I've been listening to you talk for an hour here. And on the 3, there was a slight up, like the 3. And I believe my guess would be 3. Is that you're thinking of? Is that correct?
Ladies and gentlemen.
It is. Okay.
Justin.
Now, maybe that's just, listen, 1 out of 6. That's maybe I got lucky.
Sure, maybe you got lucky.
Do it again.
We're going to do it again.
Do it again.
We're going to do this nonsense again.
I'll try this time without even listening. I mean, not without listening, without looking.
Without looking. You think there's something I can do?
Well, there are tells, like little eyebrow waves.
Boy.
So you got to tell me when you have a number locked in.
I am locked in, sir.
You're locked in.
Yeah.
Can I turn back? Actually, I'll stay turned away.
Stay turned away.
Do the same thing. Go 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, here we go. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
See, that's odd. Do it again. Do it again.
Here we go. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So either you've kind of figured out how to dupe me because I didn't hear anything in the middle of the pattern, or it's the last one. It's 1.
God damn it! This
one.
is.
It's okay.
Come on!
Okay.
What is this? This is witchcraft.
It's just
This is witchcraft.
reading people, but
and I won't stand for it.
I'm going to be burned. Right now
my gosh! Well, what I am is wildly impressed.
It's fun, right?
That is super fun.
It's fun.
And there are people who say, the haters, oh, magic's not real, and we say, yeah, no, he's not a wizard.
It's so funny, man.
But what he is a master of his craft.
That's what it is. Like in the show trailer, I say, it's real people, which it is, real magic, no camera tricks.
Yeah.
All true statements, but people are like, real magic? Magic's not real. More like real tricks. I'm like, well, yes, it's real tricks, but it's like real magic. Right. What I'm trying to say is like what you're seeing is actually happening. It's like when magic is really good on TV, people assume it's fake.
Sure.
When magic is just okay, people say it sucks.
Yeah.
And there's the rub, There
is the rub.
There is the rub. What do you do? So,
while I'm sitting here thoroughly impressed, I'm going to share that video. It's worth it just to see how upset I just got at how he nailed that.
I know.
That is fantastic. And I really hope people check you out. Where can they find you online, Justin?
I'm on all the things.
All the social medias?
Instagram at Justin Willman. Okay. Twitter, Justin_Willman.
All right.
Because there's another Justin Willman who beat me to it. He lives in Boulder, I think, and he's a dick. So
we can make him disappear.
Would be great. We could really gang up on him and really piss him off, and he'll never give me the handle.
No.
Or my website, justinwillman.com, and I'm touring a bunch. I'll be doing Arlington Draft House at the end of this month, end of August.
That's fantastic.
I love it. I'll be at Caroline's on Broadway end of September.
Wow.
For 4 nights. So come see it live.
Oh, that is spectacular.
Yeah.
Do yourself a favor. If you are in Austin or New York, go see Justin.
Arlington, D.C.
Oh, Arlington, D.C. I was thinking of the Arlington Tech. No.
I'm
glad we cleared that up.
Exactly.
So if you're East Coast only, middle of the country,
Yes,
you're on your own. So go see him there. Go check out his website. And certainly at the very least, if you have Netflix, if you don't, get Netflix. Check out Magic for Humans.
Give them your password, Sam.
You know what? I don't even use mine.
Give them Kevin's password.
I use an old girlfriend's. That's how it works these days, right?
It's good.
I shouldn't have admitted that. Now I'm going to get in trouble. But buddy, I can't thank you enough.
Thank you.
For taking the time out, coming, talking to me, telling me about your story, and it made me giddy like a child because I still love magic.
I think the next, I want you to bring back, what's his name? Little Jimmy?
Oh, Little Joey.
Little Joey.
Next time you and I hang out, I'm going to bring back Little Joey just for you.
Your social media followers want a little video taste of what Little Joey's all about.
I'm a little rusty. It's been 25 years, but for you, my friend, I will see what I can do.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Give me just 1 second to wrap things up here. Guys, that's it. The great Justin Willman. Please, again, do yourselves a favor. Check him out. All the places he can be checked out. I would like to thank a bunch of people who this show simply would not happen without. Of course, I'll start with the guy sitting right in front of me. Handsome Sam, over there.
Always my pleasure.
Right here in the booth. How about that trick, huh?
Incredible.
Incredible, right? He got it twice.
I called the police.
I wish you had called them sooner. You know what? He was missing his hype men's and women's. We should have gotten the Obamas in here. So thank you so much, Sam. Thank you so much to Earwolf. Thank you so much to the people who make the show. Our head writer, Jamie Foxx. Our producers, Jason McIntyre, Corey Levin on post. And of course, Chat Show himself, Mr. Kevin Elliott Pollack. I'm Samm Levine, and you've been listening to this Chat Show, and we are done now, so you may fuck off.